I think we're live. Good morning, everyone. Hello, hello. If you are just new to this channel and you're watching this, my name is Katie. You can't see me because this morning, well, there's a story that comes with this morning, which I will tell. But if you're new to this channel or you're new to really this show, this is basically a show to motivate and inspire and build leadership in our business as creatives. This is a space to learn strategy and, most importantly, to learn about yourself and how you can build your character in your business, in your family, in your life. So that's really what the show is about. Normally, the show is at 6 a.m. And I find it ironic that we're talking about discipline this morning because guess who slept in this morning? And if this had happened like first, second episode, I would have been freaking out. But what I realized is, okay, when I woke up this morning late, I said, okay, I have to decide if I am going to jump out of bed and make it happen, or if I'm going to like take in that energy of disappointment and kind of beating myself up. If I was going to do that and just not do the show and wait until next Saturday or put an apology out there of why it wasn't there. But the reality is so many of you watch the show after it's live. I get very few people who actually show up live with me at 6 a.m. And so many of you watch it after the fact. And so I know that I have to step up and make it happen even when things did not go according to plan. Even when I messed up, I still have to make it happen. And that's really what we're talking about today, ironically. We're talking about discipline and the freedom behind discipline. Now, that may seem like two words that don't go together, right? Oftentimes, we do not talk about freedom and discipline together. But here is what I have been learning a lot. And I'm a Christian, so I read the Bible a lot. And a lot of what the Bible talks about is this beauty behind doing what is good, which will create joy and freedom and like just amazing things in your life. When you do the right thing, when you really focus on bettering yourself to better your people. I mean, there's just so much in the Bible that talks about personal development in the most non-cliche way ever. Like, it's so deep and so powerful. And one of the themes in the Bible is this idea that discipline is freeing. That being a slave to sin is death. And so it's so interesting to see that contrast. And if you're not a believer, if you're not a Christian, that is a-okay. And don't worry, the whole video is not going to be particularly on the Bible, but I wanted to point this out because from my perspective, I'm like, oh my goodness, my whole life, I've been one of my biggest, kind of like detriments, I guess, to myself is like, I'm very flighty sometimes. So I get to learn how to be a better finisher. And I've talked about this before on this show. And so some of you may be like, Katie, that is me. That is me. But the interesting part about this is when I started my business and when I started really like training on certain skills, live shows, I did a lot of audio engineering. One of the things that I found is that if you don't practice, if you don't review how things work, you lose it like nothing. If you do not have discipline in learning and maintaining, then guess what? Everything's going to fall to pieces and you're going to be back to square one. And that's the same with everything in our life, including and very importantly in our business and as creatives. For those of you who are watching this who do YouTube, I would love if you comment down below and tell me if you are a YouTuber, if you do YouTube. I'd love to take a look at your channel and just support you any way I can. But here's the thing, like if you're doing YouTube, you know very well that the algorithm likes consistency. One of the reasons I think my show gets pushed out so much is because I'm consistent on scheduling it. I'm consistent on showing up for it. Minus, of course, today, which I was 50 minutes late. But normally YouTube will push that out because they see it. They're like, oh, it always happens. So we're going to push it out. And so we come back to this idea of discipline is freedom. And so many people out there in the world talk about the opposite. They talk about, like carefreeness is freedom, or impulsiveness is freeing. there's just so many different words to describe the opposite of discipline. And the amazing part is the people who have gone far in whatever they've done, the people who are excellent at a very small amount of things, the people who are millionaires, billionaires, the people out there who are incredible entrepreneurs and creatives, they do not lack discipline. If you look at any of these channels out there on YouTube, on social media, where there are absolutely incredible, successful creatives who are just killing it, building the subscribers, building the watch time, building the back end money, building the business behind the scenes. Like, these people cannot build this without discipline. And so discipline has been something that I've really been convicted of lately because, I have discipline in certain areas of my life. Like my business, I try to, and I have certain discipline. Like we all have discipline in certain areas that we like, right? But what about the areas that we don't like? And this is probably going to be like the most common question about discipline that I get asked. Katie, how do you make time and how do you follow through on the things you don't want to do? It's not generally asked so bluntly, but I'm going to say it that way because guess what? It's going to happen. So here's the question. How do you have discipline in the areas that you don't love? How do you get stuff done and follow through on the things that you don't want to do? And this comes really, this is a really personal thing for me because I found myself in the last year and a half doing the things I love doing and not the things that I should be doing and should be spending time on, but maybe are not at the top of my list. And so now I've gotten this shift and this like massive clarity on all of the things that I've ever wanted to complete. Really, the way through those things is through discipline. So, a lot of us out there are like, we need to lose some weight. Well, guess what? It takes discipline. A lot of us are wanting to build our YouTube channels and really like build success around that, whether that is, how many subscribers you have or how much income you make on the back end because you've really got a solid business to back up that YouTube channel. Whatever that is, we all have things that we want to build and big things that we want to create. And the reality is we cannot get through those without having discipline. And discipline means, hey, I'm going to do this regardless of my emotions. Discipline means, hey, I'm going to do this thing even though I don't feel like it. And discipline and leadership are very, very closely related. They're like cousins, I guess. Because leadership is this idea that I'm going to constantly be building and like building off of this foundation that I am bigger than my emotions. I am bigger than my impulses. I am bigger than my everyday random thought. We can do so very much if we really, really focus on like discipline in our life, leadership in our actions. When we put these two things together, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. So for any of you that are listening to this later on, I want you to comment down below and tell me, like, what is the area in your life right now where you need discipline? And this doesn't need to be some like super long, transparent, like, tell me your whole life story. This needs to be, hey, let's build something together and let's be real. Like, legitimately, let's be real about what we are trying to accomplish, what we are trying to actually get done. I think that's powerful. And transparency is a huge thing. So the story that I wanted to share with you guys this morning is I woke up late. I woke up at 6:10-ish a.m. and I was like, oh, I missed my Saturday morning show. I was out late last night at a party safely. I realize whenever I say party nowadays, it's like, oh, Katie, no. And we were having a good time playing games and it was late. And so I got home, I went to bed, kind of crashed. And then I woke up. I snoozed my alarm. I actually can't snooze. That's a different story. I turned off my alarm and I went right back to sleep. Like, hardcore, I was tired. So here's the thing with discipline. You're not always going to hit right on the target. Here's the thing about discipline. You have to have grace with yourself when things go wrong because guess what? We're human and there's going to be mistakes. However, you also have to own up to it. You also have to like take ownership of it. So this morning I had to decide if I was actually going to show up for you guys. I'm showing up, even though I was 50 minutes late. Like, I'm showing up because I know that you guys will benefit from this after the fact. And the powerful part about doing that and being transparent about that is that you guys get to do this too in your life. You get to take ownership of your mistakes and actually make it happen. Like, whatever it was that you missed, that you didn't do a good job at, whatever it is, you get to push through and make an amazing result out of it. And if you're feeling like, Katie, I don't want to do the work to make that happen, that's where your leadership and your discipline need work. Now, how do we do this, right? How do we actually start really being intentional about following through, getting things done, and like taking ourselves seriously? Because if I'm honest, the thing that really scared me the most in my life, and honestly, it's something that still comes up, the thing that has scared me the most when it comes to like getting stuff done is trusting myself to actually complete what I start. And in my business last year, I started doing live shows and I'm hosting it. So that means everything's on me. If these speakers don't show up, that means I have to make up the difference. That means either I have to speak or find somebody else. If I don't send out my emails to get people onto the show, guess what? The show's not happening because I don't really have that many people who are like, Katie, I want to be on your show. That happens sometimes. But the reality is, I am responsible for every single thing that happens during that show. And there are some things that are out of my control, but I have to take ownership for all of it because it's my show that I'm hosting. And so I get to, with full on energy and like just realness, I guess, like grit, like I get to show up and troubleshoot. And when things go wrong, I say when because things always go wrong. When things go wrong, you got to make something out of it. You just have to. So it's powerful, powerful stuff. And, this idea that discipline is a bad thing. I think a lot of people look at discipline as this like goody two shoes of personal development. And if you're not into personal development, then you're probably thinking this even more so. Like, Katie, I don't want really discipline. I want to have a good time. Here's the amazing part about discipline. I'm going to say this slowly because I want you to get this. Discipline is freedom. Discipline is freedom. When I make my bed in the morning, every single morning, that means I don't come during the day to my bedroom and say, man, my bed isn't made. Now it's going to be cold when I get into it. I don't have, my sibs or my mom saying, Katie, you need to make your bed. Like, if I make my bed in the morning, then it's made. Like, I'm free from that. If I, if I take all of the sugary things out of my house, that means I don't binge eat them. That's freedom. I'm not chained to that. It's freedom. There's so many areas of our life. If I build a business and start building an actual plan and a to-do list, like tasks, that's not like binding. That's freedom because I actually have clarity on what I want to do. Think about when you sit down, like if you guys are in school or you have a business or you're doing anything where you're doing like research, studying, whatever. If you sit down and you have no idea what you're studying, you haven't prepared anything, you don't have any plan of action of what you're going to do. If you just sit down and say, okay, I need to study for this test. And you just start like reading something. How far do you think you're going to get until you realize you're not doing this in the most efficient way you can, and you're wasting a lot of time by not having a clear path of what you want to complete, what you want to get through? So the reality is discipline is freedom because it takes away from our brain having to constantly make impulsive decisions. I think one of the most powerful things that I've learned, we have one person who popped on. That's awesome. Hello. Comment in the live chat. They're probably like, weird. She knows I'm here. So the reality is like discipline is freedom. And here's the cool part. Our brain can take so much. Can just take just so much during the day before it just says, I just don't want to do anything. And so if we throw impulsive decisions and choices constantly at it every single day, if we're constantly pushing and like constantly expecting our brain to make decisions on a whim for our benefit and score big points every single time, like we're expecting way too much. So the more you can plan and the more you can actually have discipline and have habitual tasks and have a morning that's consistent and have a nighttime that's consistent and have a process in your business that's consistent, the more you can build consistency into your life. Guess what? That takes discipline. But the more you build consistency into your life, the less work your brain has to do. And the less you're giving over to your emotions. Because guess what's going to happen? We've all been here when we haven't really made a plan for the day. I've had this happen. We haven't made a plan for the day. And suddenly our day is like, boom, it's gone. It's gone. And we're like, where did it go? And I had to and I'm exhausted and like, but I don't know if I even did anything because I didn't really build a plan. And now I'm freaking out and my emotions are taking over. And now I'm binge eating and I feel awful about myself. And we get into these out of control spirals, these out of control cycles where we don't know what even happened with that day. Discipline is freedom. Discipline is freedom. There are incredible human beings out there that teach insane discipline. They teach stuff that is absolutely powerful. And I don't want you to walk away from this and say, okay, everything that everybody says about discipline is going to help me. The reality is you have to have discipline in your life with things that actually matter. So adding things to your life that are super bizarre. I mean, like someone said something, I watched a video once about taking cold showers in the morning. I think it was, man, I can't remember. One of the amazing content creators out there who does personal development, he was talking about how he, like a part of his discipline testing and building habits into his life was taking a cold shower. And let me guess, I think I remember, I should have like prepared this better. I think I remember him saying he did not keep that one. He takes warm showers now. So sometimes you're just testing yourself to see how far you can go. And I'm going to end with this. So when I started my first conference last year, I was really scared because I really did not trust myself. And I was ambitious. I'm always ambitious, but I was scared that I would not follow through. And I had all of these incredible experts who were showing up. And I had Benji Travis, which was insane. And I had just absolutely incredible human beings. Janine Finney, Robert Scrobe. I mean, just absolutely like alumni experts of their fields. And here's the powerful part about putting yourself through the fire and really testing yourself and going out there and getting uncomfortable. I did some things in there that I never knew I was capable of doing. I problem solved when things were going wrong. I showed up when things were not the way I expected. And so when we look at ourselves in the mirror and we say, I can't do this, that is not a true story. The true story is, I don't have enough guts right now to do this. And that's okay. If you admit that to yourself and you're like, I can't do this right now, I don't have the leadership right now to do this, then like be honest with yourself. But that is the real story, because there is so much that we are capable of. And I get to see this every single day in my clients. I get to see this every single day in my business. I get to see this every single day in my business coaching and my co-business coachees. I'm going to say it that way. I get to see absolutely, like in the business world, because we're so collaborative here, I get to see absolutely amazing human beings go out there and do crazy things. And so it is not at all, it is not different for you. You have the capability of doing incredible things. And if you embrace discipline, if you embrace habit building, if you embrace having the leadership to build a life that leaves you free then you are going to be able to do powerful things, because you're not going to be saying yes, yes, yes to everything, or no, no, no to everything. You're going to be saying, does this fit in with what I'm trying to accomplish? Does this fit into my life? And then you're going to say yes or no. You're going to have a plan of action during the day of like, this is what I need to get done. You're going to have determination to follow through, because you know that this thing has absolute purpose and absolute alignment in your life. That is powerful. That is incredible. And so I wanted to share that with you this morning. And I find it ironic that this was the morning I woke up late, because really the defining moment this morning for me was, am I going to give up because I showed up late, or am I going to show up? Am I going to show up? Because I get to show up. So the defining moment is not I woke up late. The defining moment is, did I show up? And I want you to ask yourself that question. For that thing that you are struggling with right now, what is the defining moment? The defining moment is not if I give up. The defining moment is, what am I going to do about this? And what is going to be in alignment with my integrity, with my character, with my leadership? What am I going to do about it to make it right? That's what I want you to hear in this very a flat episode of my slide, Mornings with Katie. You're not seeing my face this morning because I was like, I don't feel like it. Thanks so much for having grace this morning. And for those of you who watch this after the fact, you probably didn't even know that I was late, because you're like, I'm watching this afterward. But seriously, I would love to know, for those of you who listen to this the whole way through, first off, thank you. And secondly, I hope you got value. And thirdly, please comment down below and tell me what do you need to work on in regard to discipline? What do you need discipline in your life right now? Where in your life? I need to reword that. Okay. Discipline. Where do you need it right now? In what area of your life? Your family, your business, your YouTube channel, whatever it is. Where is discipline needed most in your life right now? I'd love to know. Comment down below. Let me know. It's powerful stuff. It's powerful stuff. I will say, just for those of you who are fans of the show, I may actually be doing more, really like, you're going to see more audio, just audio, because what I've found is sometimes like it's great to connect visually sometimes, but it can also be distracting. And I really want you guys to listen to this as you start your day. This is like the playlist, right? I want you to listen to this as you start your Saturday morning, or you start your Monday morning. You can wait until Monday to watch it, whatever. Like, use this as a launching pad to start your day. And I hope you feel like safety. I hope you feel trust in me to do that. And for those of you who do listen to this consistently, thank you so much for trusting me enough to speak into your life. I'm not always gonna have the answers, but I'm working at it. You're working at it. We're getting it done, and we're able to lift each other up and really keep each other accountable in what we're trying to create, what we're trying to build. And that is so, so powerful. So before I go way too long, I am going to say farewell. I hope you have an awesome day, awesome Saturday. I think the weather's going to be nice. We're going to have some good outdoor time. And I hope you all have an awesome Saturday. Get it, rock it out, get it done.